Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I'm so happy you're with us today. And once again, my dear ones, we have a very special guest who is beloved by many in our Seek Reality community. He's fun to listen to, but also some longtime Seek Reality listeners have had various personal problems that they've consulted Peter Wright about, and they've let me know that our dear friend Peter was able to help them with their problems, and often in just one session. So then our grateful listener contacted me and let me know about their happy result. And of course, I would send Peter an email right away and thank him and invite him back. I'd say, Peter, you've got to come back right away. It's been too long. And as a result, this is Peter's 18th Seek Reality visit. And what I especially enjoy about talking with Peter is a few things, actually, but one is I love talking about past life regression therapy. In fact, I've tried to do past life regression therapy with Peter, and that's his specialty. And the only problem, of course, is that my own spirit guide won't allow me to do past life regression therapy. He says, not now, not while he's working with me. After that, I can do it as much as I want. Last time, we did something different with Peter. He insisted on talking about Dr. Ian Stevenson of the University of Virginia, and that is a great topic. Look up the last time we talked with Peter Wright, because Dr. Ian Stevenson had a groundbreaking career and talking about the reincarnation memories of young children. He studied them for his whole, really the second half of his career at the University of Virginia. And these young children, when they had past lives that ended violently, would remember them for the first part of their current career as a child. After a while, they outgrew the memory. But fascinating life Dr. Stevenson had just studying these children. And often he could find their present life. He could go back and he could find what were the past lives of those children and the families, and the little child looking up at this woman would say, "Oh, you were my wife in this past life." Fascinating. I have all his books, and I loved reading about these wonderful, amazing things that they had done. So we talked about those the last time that Peter was here. However, I love it when he goes back and he talks about the things that really are his core expertise. Peter Wright is a past life regression therapist by profession. He's a certified hypnotherapist based in Santa Barbara, California, with 25 years, actually I think probably more like 35 years of experience working with more than 2,000, probably more like 3,000 now clients. He holds the distinction of being one of only 40 board-certified past life regression therapists in the whole United States. He tells me many people have consulted him who have first learned about him from having heard about him really here on Seek Reality broadcast, just because I'm such a fan. And as you see, we kind of have a mutual love society here, a positive feedback loop. I've actually talked about other things with Peter Wright. In fact, I've been to his office in Santa Barbara. I'm really a big fan of his. And eventually, Thomas says I will be able to work with him. I have had 17 past lives with Thomas. I can hardly wait to find out more about them, especially since I've been a male in every one of them. Actually, I was one of the first transgender, I guess, people in all of history. I don't know, but even before it was fashionable, I was transgender. And my Thomas is very bossy. He won't let me do anything about it now, but I would love to actually learn more about all those past lives. But that's about me. I want to talk about other things with my dear friend Peter today. Peter, welcome. I'm dying to talk about what we're going to talk about today, especially since we're going to finally learn what karma is. Okay, Peter, what's karma?
Karma is the actions that we take in one lifetime that can affect another lifetime. Karma is neutral. It's not punishment. You experience the negative or positive consequences of the choices that you make.
Does every kind of society have karma? Because we don't ever talk about it in Western society, and what you just said makes perfect sense. Why don't we talk about it in Western societies?
Well, it's a different type of concept. So let's instead talk about it from the galaxy's perspective. Okay. So and also from my perspective, if you consider that Earth is a free will zone, it's one of the few places in the galaxy that is based on free will. We come to Earth to practice making choices, to exercise our free will. And that's why karma exists. We learn that karma is created by these choices on our soul's journey.
So it exists everywhere. Every society, every belief system has karma. It's just that Western societies don't recognize it.
Exactly.
That's foolish. It really is.
But then when you know that karma exists, you can choose to act in appropriate ways to create good karma. Because we learn in coming to Earth to make these choices. That's how we learn. There are no wrong choices. They're just choices with consequences. And so through the choices that we make, they can affect us as our lives unfold. In other words, what goes around comes around.
Makes sense. So you're saying that choices always have consequences. Karma can be bad. Karma can be good. But karma is those choices, consequences.
Exactly.
All right. I get it. Okay.
We come back time and time and time again because we're practicing choices each time that we're here in physical body. And so after scores of lifetimes, we learn that it's all about love and forgiveness and compassion.
Okay. So the past lives we've had, we've built up karma, good and bad, from those past lives.
Exactly.
Okay.
In our upcoming lifetimes, we need to experience the effects of those choices that we made in that life and in our life today.
Okay. Do the good and the bad balance out if they're unrelated? So let's say I've had a wonderful life. I've had some bad lifetimes, but I've had some wonderful lifetimes. Do they balance out then?
We hope they do.
Okay.
Through the choices that you make, you're in charge. As a free will planet, it's up to us to decide to make good choices and quote good choices. And if we do not, then hey, life is not easy because what goes around comes around.
Because I've seen in the work you've done, you have unwound some really bad things from past lives for people.
Exactly. And that's, in fact, I like to describe today a protocol that I use that can help clients let go of choices they made in past lives that are affecting their current lifetime. And I find that these are rather complex karmic issues. Using hypnosis, we can help the client resolve them often in just one or two past life sessions. So I'd like to describe the protocol for your listeners today.
Okay, great.
Through that, you can realize that in making choices in your life, go for the positive ones, go for the loving, the compassionate, the ones that share your truth with others in positive ways, because that will come back to help you rather than hurt you.
Absolutely. That's great. Okay, let's do it.
All right. So I find that then this particular protocol applies to all sorts of issues, whether they're emotions, relationship issues, health issues, or whatever, because in the final analysis, it's all about forgiveness. And so what I like to do is describe a client session from several months ago. Let's say her name is Joyce. And Joyce came to me because she had experienced a great deal of pain caused by rheumatoid arthritis. And she was looking for a way to lessen that pain. So I took her into relaxative hypnosis, which is basically focused concentration. where you're fully aware of everything that's going on around you. You hear the traffic outside, but hope you're sharing with me what's going on inside of you, because I believe so many of our answers are within us if we can just get out of the way.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm here to help you get out of the way.
Okay, huge.
So I took Joyce into hypnosis and then on a guided visualization up into the fifth dimension where all the answers can be found. So we're leaving the third dimension, going up into the fifth, where it's very easy to access all of our guidance.
Uh-huh.
So we're now up in the fifth dimension, and I asked her to describe what does that place look like or feel like or seem like to you? Because some of my clients are very visual, some are very auditory, some are very sensing or feeling. And so this is up in the light, and she described this place as being up in the clouds with loving beings all around.
Right.
So I asked Joyce's heart to come forth and to partner with us as part of her inner wisdom team. So her heart came forth through her as if she were channeling it with words like, I'm here.
Right.
And she described her heart as being a feeling in her chest. So her heart's speaking to me right now through her. I asked, Heart, what is your purpose in being with Joyce? And the heart replied, I love Joyce. I see her who she really is. I remind her of that. I make her cry when she is touched and moved. Wonderful. You know how typically this is what the heart will say about the client. I then asked her higher self to join us. And for me, the higher self is the best part of you. It knows everything about you from this life and past lives. So I asked her higher self, came forth with I'm here. And I asked Joyce, how do you experience your higher self? And she said, it's a knowing energy. All right. So let's give a voice to this knowing energy. And I asked it, what is Joyce's higher self's purpose? And the higher self said, I guide Joyce and show her the truth. I lead her and take her by the hand. Wonderful sentiments for a higher self. And often this is this is what happens in talking with clients. So then I asked Heart and Higher Self to form Joyce's inner wisdom team that we'll be working with throughout the session. And this is a team that knows everything about her and will be adding to the team as the session unfolds. And members of the team could include Archangel Michael, a spirit guide, ascended masters, other archangels, angels, and loved ones from the other side. So that's what we're doing. We're simply bringing together guidance from the light that knows everything about Joyce and is eager to help her resolve the issues that we brought to the table. And all this is being done by her channeling through first thought, first feeling, first image, first voice. Comments, questions about that, Roberta?
No, but it's fascinating. The thing is, if people have never heard you say these things, because it's like woo-woo, but I've been there. I've been the one who was hypnotized, and I've been the one who, in hypnosis, I've heard my own voice giving these answers, and I haven't known where the answers have come from. It's a very strange thing to be the one who is the client, but it works. It's very strange, but it does work. It really happens that these answers come from, and you don't know where they're coming from.
They're coming from your own guidance, from the love that has you.
It's a boggling thing when it happens.
And what I find is that we bring your to-do list to the session, the guidance brings their to-do list to the session. And their list takes precedence over yours because they know where we need to go first. And because of that, they can unravel rather complex issues within you by focusing on what wants to happen, because they have access to this life, past lives, and all other guidance available to us from the light.
And when it was something which I was being allowed by my guide to work on, it worked fine. When I had that session specifically because I wanted to have access to the past lives I had lived with him, he put up a roadblock. We were not allowed to do that. When you asked what's going on, he took over my voice and said that I was not allowed to access those. And so what you finally then got him, and I don't mean to break into what you're doing, we'll go right back to it. When you finally said, well, what can we do? I can't remember how you put it. You said, well, can we invite them into the room? Can we invite those beings into the room? And he said, yes. So suddenly the room was crowded with 17 men, which shocked me. They were all male, all those, but they weren't even allowed to speak. They could be in the room so that I could see them, but that was it. I could see who they were, but that was it. I thought that was fascinating too. I mean, the whole working with you is so fascinating, but go back to it. I mean, just so people know this is real, what he's doing. And when you are the client, the person talking that they're talking through is you, but you have no idea what your own voice was about to say. And these beings that he's talking to are using your voice. Oh, it's so amazing. But it works.
I'm speaking the truth here. So I invite you to be my tour guide, be my court reporter, as the guidance is being our tour guides, our court reporters, and taking us where we need to go in order for you to resolve these issues.
Yes, it's just amazing.
And so, with that being said, I then, once we've met your inner wisdom team and invite you to lead the session, I then ask you to typically to go to a magic mirror of truth. And by design, I've not mentioned this to you in advance, and just to, as you stand in front of it, note your own reflected energy or body. In other words, whatever shows up, describe it to me, whether you see or feel or sense the image in the mirror. And so whatever shows up is often a metaphor of where we need to go first to resolve these issues.
Right.
So we then begin to talk to that energy through you. You're channeling it. And I'm basically asking, are you a good witch or a bad witch? And if you're a good witch, how are you helping my client? And if you're a bad witch, in other words, negative emotions or whatever, how are you harming my client? And you're channeling all this.
Yes.
So when we got to Joyce's magic mirror of truth, and what she saw in the mirror was a golden white light of pulsating energy, filling about half the mirror. Okay, so let's invite that energy to come forth with words like I'm here. I'm here, it said. So I asked, are you a part of Joyce or something else? And it said, I'm a part of Joyce. I'm the energy of lightness, of being, and laughter.
Wow, beautiful. That's beautiful.
I'm a spirit guide. I've been with Joyce forever. So the spirit guide knows all about Joyce. It's been with her forever. And so I asked if we might invite the spirit guide to join the inner wisdom team, and it said, of course, yes, indeed. So, but I want to be quite honest here in terms of what we're dealing with. It's a voice coming through you. I hope it's your spirit guide, but it could be any voice. So I ask a key question. Are you in service to the light and love of the one infinite creator? If it's not your spirit guide or not Archangel Michael or not one of the wise beings that works with us, but instead is an energy, a negative energy that's pretending to be that, it cannot lie and say, I sure am. So I use that to make sure we're talking only to those beings of the highest vibration.
Right.
So I then asked the team, what should we focus on now? And they said, break Joyce's karmic agreements. Okay. So when karma is involved, I will often turn to Lady Master Kuan Yin. And for those of you who don't know who she is a female ascended master, one of the few ascended masters, who is the Bodhisattva of compassion. She's similar to Mother Mary and is often pictured in art as a very feminine, beautiful woman. And you see her often in pictures and drawings and so on. I call
Now, a Bodhisattva is a female Buddha.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay.
She heads up the Karmic Council, which consists of 7 beings who are filled with wisdom and compassion. And we can appeal to Kuan Yin and the Karmic Council for mercy, for karma, to help come to closure with whatever the karma might be. So with the Karmic Council present, I asked her, are you in service to light and love, wonderful creator? And she said, yes. I wanted to make sure. And I then asked her to scan Joyce's energy field and let me know if there's karma involved from this life or past lives. And then I asked, what did you find? And Joyce channeled that Kuan Yin said that there were 50 agreements from multiple past lives, from this life and past lives, that contained themes and patterns that were causing Joyce's rheumatoid arthritis. Wow, 50
Wow.
50 agreements. So we now, okay, what do we do to resolve those?
But why would there be karmic agreements? What's the feature of that makes it an agreement?
An agreement meaning that we made choices in past lives that cause things to happen. And what goes around comes around. They are now coming forth into her present life and affecting her health.
Okay.
I'll go into a little bit more detail about that in just a few seconds.
Okay.
So, but it's something that happened, things that happened in past lives that are affecting Joyce today. So, because I don't know what those things are, and Joyce has no idea what those things are,
Yep.
we then invited all those from those past lives, the key people, to join us from those past lives, to join us right now in the imagination of Joyce from this life, past lives, and the like. So they arrive, and our goal was to find out what happened. Why did these agreements take place? And why are they affecting Joyce today with rheumatoid arthritis? So I asked Joyce, how many people show up? And she said 20. Okay, from this life and past lives. So we now have 20 people joined us with Kuan Yin and the Karmic Board, Karmic Council. And so I asked for a spokesperson from the group to come forth and talk to us through Joyce with words like, I'm here. I'm here, said a voice. What name may we call you? He said, Joe. Okay, go with this. Are you in service of the light and love of the one infinite creator? Yes. All right, good. So let's just see what comes forth from talking with Joe. Joe told us that the cause of Joyce's rheumatoid arthritis was her ignorance that brought harm to others in so many different lifetimes.
Ooh,
How about that?
this is getting heavy.
Joyce?
Poor Joyce. Oh,
He went on to say that Joyce had gotten away with this ignorance in those past lives, but it needed to be resolved right now as an important soul lesson for Joyce.
yeah.
So it had all come down to her, if you will, and she now had an opportunity to come to closure.
Yeah.
And so in order to learn the lesson and be able to move forward. Comments about that or anything you want to ask about?
No, but I can't wait to see how this comes out. It's like reading a novel.
So I asked then Kuan Yin if it would be appropriate for Joyce to express a divine decree of forgiveness through her heart to all those who were affected by that karma from past lives and this life. And Catherine Ponder is a New Age writer who has several books on healing, and this is from one of her books, A Divine Decree of Forgiveness. So I invited Joyce to invite everybody present from that life and this life, anyone else who had not yet arrived, who could then participate in this divine decree of forgiveness. And to, when we started doing this, for her to repeat the phrases that I shared with her and express them through her heart to all those who had come forth. And in so doing, I gave her the words, and here are the words that were expressed through her heart. The Christ in me, then add your full name, forgives all of you for all of your actions in thought, word, or deed in this and all lifetimes. And then I asked her to repeat these words. The Christ in each of you, all those present, forgives me, her full name, for all my actions in thought, word, or deed in this and all lifetimes. And here I think is very important. And we all release this through all lifetimes, through all parallel lives, in all dimensions, throughout time and space, and all aspects of self, to zero, negative, infinity now. And I rang a Tibetan bell, and we all move on to our higher good. And so it is. So then I stepped in with, we asked through all of our masters, teachers, and guides from the highest light to assist in correcting what we have just done today to divine truth and divine perfection now. And I rang another Tibetan bell. So I turned to Joyce and said, what shifted? How did the others react? How are you feeling? And she told me that there was a sense of relief on everyone's part, that those who joined us were now smiling, that she felt much clearer. The heaviness on her shoulders had disappeared. She felt like something major had shifted for her. And for those who were present hearing this from that life and this life. So I then asked Kuan Yin, what just happened? And were we successful in releasing Joyce's negative karma from all those lifetimes? And Kuan Yin said yes. Now, on occasion with clients, if something else needs to be done, Kuan Yin will say, we have to do something else. And I'll turn to Kuan Yin and say, what wants to happen next? And the client will channel what wants to happen next through Kuan Yin or all those present from the inner wisdom team. So we're being led step by step by step through the process by this guidance that knows everything about the client and is eager to help the client resolve these issues.
Wow. Wow.
So
that's wonderful.
It happens client after client after client.
You do this often?
Often with many of my clients, because so many of the issues that we're dealing with in our current life are caused by things that happened earlier in this life, karma that occurred, or in past lives. And I find that it is an easy way to come to closure. Plus, and I think this is, so well, it's all about forgiveness.
Yes, it so often is. So often. Yes.
Ourselves forgiving everybody else, because if Earth is a free will zone, we come to Earth making choices. We are learning from our choices as everyone else. We're all doing the best that we can in that moment. Otherwise, we're doing something different in that moment.
Yes, forgiveness is such a big part of it.
Forgive yourself, forgive everybody else.
And most people have no clue that they have lived other lives that are affecting this one. which is such a pity. Because, yes, so true. It is such a pity that they have no idea that they're part of this much, much bigger thing than this one little life. When I held my new babies, I looked at them and I realized this person, I mean, you just look at a newborn baby and you know that baby has lived for so many other lifetimes. It's not a new thing that you hold in your arms. You've held babies. You have that sense when you look into that face. This is not a new face.
Yeah. And perhaps you've been with that soul before in other lifetimes.
Absolutely. I know for certain that's true.
Choose our parents before coming into this life.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So much. And so this is quite so this is one of the ways in which you resolve issues for people.
Yes.
If they come to you and they have past life issues.
Exactly. We bring in Kuan Yin, the Karma Council. They know and will guide us, both client and myself, with the help of the client's inner wisdom team that we have formed. And I'll turn to the team on occasion and say, what wants to happen next? And the team will tell us through the client.
Yeah. How amazing.
I'm amazed.
Just to be facilitating all this. Yeah.
So we've now, let's say, cleared much of the karma that needed to be cleared as it relates to this rheumatoid arthritis. So from my perspective then, we've come to closure with the karma itself, but within the client, there's a lot of, should we say, over the years in this lifetime, and maybe from past lives as well, a lot of emotion, a lot of thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and beliefs attached to that rheumatoid arthritis that we're seeking to help release, help let go of the emotions, just the stuff left over. So I then bring in the cleanup teams of light, beings of light.
Cleanup teams of light. I love that phrase. I love it. Right.
And everybody's available to us in the non-physical realm. So we bring in the cleanup teams. Yeah. And I'd like to share with you what I say to them. In the name of the light, I ask the cleanup teams of light to move deep inside of Joyce, clean and cleanse every cell of her physical body, every mental, emotional, etheric, and higher body, every chakra level, every compartment of mind, every track of emotion. Lift the residues left by all that was violating her space from this life and past lives. Disconnect any lasers of consciousness from any other being into her being. Remove any accumulated sludge that's been left behind. Anything that's not purely of Joyce's own being. And parenthetically, there's a lot of sludge that's been left behind.
Yeah.
Joyce has the right to her own sovereign space, to move forward on her own chosen path in this life and future lives. Joyce has the right to be free. So as you move the kingdom teams, leave every part of Joyce filled with light. In the name of light, we thank you. How does that feel, Joyce? Much lighter. So I then ask for her inner wisdom team to join us at the very end of a session. And after we've done whatever needed to be done in terms of working with past lives, this life, the coming to closure with karmic agreements, whatever it might be, at the end of the session, I invite the client's inner wisdom team to come forth and ask, and in doing so, I ask the client to come up with a sacred spot, a special place in their imagination that they can go to and imagine meeting with their inner wisdom team that we've been working with. It could be at the beach, at the top of the mountain, in your backyard, but someplace where they feel comfortable and safe. And describe that place to me. And then have each of them show up in that place. Now, what does your heart make it? How does your heart make itself known to you now? How does higher self make itself known? And so on. All those key players. We've been working with them for an hour and 20 minutes. So my hope is you're on a first name basis with your team.
We're all buddies now. Right.
They are. So the team has come forth. My client knows now where they are in relationship to her. And then I ask a spokesperson for the team to come forth right now through the client and share this the answer to this question. How have we helped Joyce today during our session? And ask for that spokesperson to announce its presence with words like, I'm here. And so I voiced that I'm here, and what name may we call you? And in this case, it was Joyce's higher self. So how do we help Joyce today during our session? Joyce experienced a gigantic cleansing of stuck energy. Her energy is now flowing once again.
Right.
What else do we do? Her heart reminded Joyce of who she really is. So I asked her heart, who is she? And the heart responded, love. Oh my, okay. What else do we do? Higher self. Her heart reported that the karma from those past lives had been resolved and cleared, freeing all of those who'd been affected by that negativity. So what we're doing here is we're not just helping the client, but those 20 people from this life and past lives who showed up were also being healed.
Of course. Of course.
And then finally, we brought in the healing light of forgiveness at the suggestion of the higher self and expanded it within Joyce's energy field. Again, it's all about forgiveness. And so then, in closing the session, I asked for an overall message from Joyce's inner wisdom team and for a member of the team to report with words like, I'm here. And it turned out to be the spirit guide that we met at the beginning of the session that was in that magic mirror of truth. And so the spirit guide came forth and said, remember who you are in truth and come to us and meet regularly with your inner wisdom team so we can communicate with you more often. We are here for you always. So remember that and let's talk further. They went on to say, or the spirit guide went on to say, Joyce, you are making great progress in the evolution of your soul and the progress of the planet. As you move forward, you will help everyone else around you move forward. Your light is expanding to others. Forgiveness is happening, and the truth is there for you in every moment. And then brought the session to a close. So then we had a follow-up session a week later to talk about the session, what had happened during the session, what had shifted since she had experienced the session. And just in the hour-long follow-up, Joyce reported that the rheumatoid arthritis was dissipating and that she could at last easily open up jars and cans with her hands.
Wow.
Plus, she could walk much further without pain.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I'm not saying that these sessions will resolve all your issues and that you'll be pain-free for the rest of your life. No, but what we're doing is we're taking off layer after layer of what is holding you back, what's blocking you, and helping you therefore take back your power and move forward in your soul's journey.
Yeah.
Comment?
That's lovely. That's really lovely. Does it make you feel good when it works so well?
Often it does work because we work in partnership, client and myself, with all the guidance that shows up. And what often happens is that in the follow-up session, I've sent the client a higher self shortcut, guided visualization, my voice hypnotic music takes them into trance and up into the light, where they can reconnect with their guidance, with their inner wisdom team whenever they choose.
That's great.
Maybe
That's
daily.
wonderful.
Call them forth and ask them a question through their heart, not through the head. Get out of the way, shut up, and get an answer from them. First thought, first feeling, first image, first voice.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
That's a hard thing because we're so used to being in our heads and being the one who talks and the one who is proactive, and to get out of the way and simply listen to our guide, that soft voice in our hearts. It's so hard to just get out of the way and listen to that voice. But once you learn to do it, what a beautiful thing it is.
and once you've then seen or sensed or felt your heart, your higher self, Archangel Michael, your spirit guide, you know what they look like and feel like and see to you, they become real.
Oh my goodness, yes.
and colleagues, friends, to help you on your soul.
If you're helping people to get in touch with their own guidance, what a gift that is. Because I've never been able to help people to do that. If you're doing that, what a gift that is.
It takes practice, but this is the first step in that. Yeah. And then I provide you with all sorts of handouts to assist you in making it more real.
Yeah.
It's very easy for the ego in the third dimension. One of its roles, from my perspective, is to make sure you feel safe at all times and protects you.
Yeah, yeah.
The ego can easily say, oh, Joyce, you work with Archangel Michael and your heart and your higher self and Kuan Yin. I didn't see them. They're not real.
I know, that's it. Yeah. I've tried to help people to and have them understand what a soft voice it is, because everyone that reads my blog and stuff knows, how close I am to Thomas, to my guide. And I try to say, you can hear your guide. This is where he is. This is how you can hear him. But it's a very soft voice. You have to, I've never been able to I don't think, help them understand just what a soft voice it is, what a firm voice it is. You can hear it. Oh, of course you can hear it. I can't do it. So if you're doing it, my dear, what a gift that is to people.
Well, I'm encouraging people to do it themselves through first thought, first feeling, first image, first voice. And I find that having
helped me, so I'm sure you can help others. Yeah.
But it's so my hope is then that pretty soon the ego can turn to the inner wisdom team or to you and say, check with the team, find out what we should do about this and so in your life.
Right.
In partnership on all sides. So
my goodness, this is beautiful. This really is. Well, I know you've helped a lot of people because they tell me they had this real problem and you helped them really solve it. Now, explain to people why this is better than talk therapy. People go every week to their therapist and talk, but people tell me this works way better than that does.
Well, if you look at the left brain versus the right brain, and for me, the left brain is that analytical part of you. It keeps the body functioning, the heart beating, the muscles moving. It's your conscious mind, your ego, your to-do list. It's how we navigate our lives out of our left brain. But equally important is the right brain. For me, the right brain is your emotions, your values, your imagination, and your connection to your heart and your higher self, because you have access to all the guidance that's available to you there. So for my really left brain clients, those who are the engineers, the accountants who really develop the left brain, right up front at the beginning of the session, I invite them to ask their left brain to sit on their left shoulder throughout the session, take careful notes, and shut up. Higher self to sit on the right shoulder during the session, and invite their friends to come down from the non-physical realm and lead the session. And they do, and they do. So it's a very different paradigm we're working with, but one that takes advantage of your right brain connection to your own spiritual journey, if you will, your own soul's journey, and know that the left brain is for third dimensional things. Now we're in the fifth dimension working with your own inner guidance.
And so they can maybe get deeper into the non-material, the non-everyday, the parts that they have not accessed of their minds ever before, and that can make a big difference. Oh, I'm so sorry we've already come to the end of our time. I just can't believe how fast time goes. What do you want people to take away from today?
That all the answers are within you. I invite you to simply, if you can get out of the way and allow the voices within you, the loving, supportive, higher self heart voices within you to speak forth and give you the guidance you need to make these decisions, because we're here on earth to make decisions. That's why we came here, to learn from these decisions and to sort of be your best self in making those decisions, because what goes around comes around.
Always. Oh, my dear, consider yourself hugged. I'm so sorry we have already come to the end of our time because this has been a lot of fun for me. I always enjoy so much when my dear friend Peter is here. We have such good friends here on Seek Reality, but I'm so sorry we've come to the end of our time. My dear friends, always know that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began. I just should tell you, Peter's website is insightsfromwithin.com, and that's exactly what you get if you ever talk with him. And I guess I really recommend that if you have a problem that's been intractable or that you aren't really sure, what the heck to do about it, you might talk with Peter because, I've always felt that the only thing he really can't do anything about for me is things that my guide won't let me talk about while we're still working on this lifetime. But afterwards, I certainly intend to look Peter up when he and I get to where we're going. This has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I'm so happy you could be with us today. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you really know what that means, it's going to change everything in your life for the better. And next week, we're going to be talking with someone else who is a very old friend. Dr. R. Craig Hogan will be with us for the 43rd time in our more than 10 years. He comes 4 times a year, sometimes 5. And that's just the way it's always going to be. He's the president of Seek Reality Online and the author of the set of definitive books on the subject of death, the afterlife, the greater reality, where and how everything happens, and what actually is going on. And as you know, near-death experiences are wonderful, but nothing that happens in a near-death experience can tell us anything at all about what actually happens after death, since death is always a one-way trip. So if you come back to tell the tale, you never have actually died. But next week, we're going to sort all of that out together, Craig and I, my dear friend. Actually, it's pretty wonderful what happens after death. So please be sure to join us next week. And this week, we've been talking with our wonderful friend, Peter Wright. Don't you love him? And actually, what's great about working with Peter is I was sure I could never be hypnotized. Peter can hypnotize like you cannot imagine. And we've become pretty good friends, actually. Whenever I hear from someone who's worked with him, I just sort of keep Peter on speed dial. I say, hey, you've got to come back because I just heard from him, and I give him the name, and he says, oh, yeah, but I want to talk about this other thing. And I say, no, I want to talk about past life regression, but he has all these other ideas. But whatever we talk about, I always learn a lot from Peter because frankly, there's a whole world there of things. We talked about negative entities. I didn't want to talk about those, but that turned out to be interesting too. So every time he comes back, he's got something new, and it's always amazing. Peter Wright is just a beautiful, beautiful soul. We love him here. So every time, the next time he comes, he'll have something else to talk about. Every time it's wonderful. And now, of course, it's time once again just to mention that Seek Reality Online is your one-stop resource for all things afterlife. Just go to seekreality.com and start to learn for yourself that your own reality actually is eternal. Believe it or not, it's the best you can possibly imagine and then some. Craig Hogan runs it. He owns it. And it is your world. He is your worldwide expert, and it is your worldwide expert place for all things afterlife. Teachingsbyjesus.com is your single resource for all the beautiful divine truths that the Master Jesus came to teach us. Christianity is not his religion. It's the Roman Emperor Constantine's religion, and as the religion dies, Jesus now finally gets his turn. Don't you think it's about time he had his turn? My nonfiction books are Liberating Jesus, My Thomas, The Fun of Dying, The Fun of Staying in Touch, The Fun of Growing Forever, The Fun of Living Together, and The Fun of Loving Jesus, Embracing the Christianity that Jesus taught. So finally, I'm going to try to finally have the opportunity to put the fun of loving Jesus into an audiobook, because I think it should be an audiobook. I'd like to be able to ride your bike or drive or whatever and listen to it. I think it's the best book I've ever written. Actually, it's channeled like all my books are channeled, but I've just not had time yet to do it. However, all of the books that I've written are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold. And eventually you'll be able to have that book as an audiobook as well. If you want to talk about anything at all, you can always contact me through the green contact block on robertagrimes.com. I answer every email, but it can take a while because I get so many of them and I have so much else going on in my life now. We're working on some things we aren't yet ready to talk about publicly. Just trying to get more information to you. Past episodes of Seek Reality are now more than 500 of them are available wherever audio podcasts are found. And you can always listen to new audio episodes on the Seek Reality app that you can find wherever free apps are found. There are new video episodes every week, and they're all available on Roku or a Fire Stick. And meanwhile, I have notes. I'm trying to sort of make sure I tell you everything. I've got to tell you more and more stuff each week. And meanwhile, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy. Please make the most of this coming week in our wonderful, wonderful one reality. I don't care. There's a material reality, but as we know, it's not really solid. It's all the same. It's all one reality. And in this entire gigantic universe, which is all small enough to fit on the head of a pin, as you know, but in this whole reality, you are the most important being of all. And you, most importantly, in this entire universe, you, most of all, are perfectly loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.